It's a scam that's become so normalized that we don't even realize it's a scam anymore.
Fucking drinking alcohol. It's literally the only drug that you actually have to defend yourself against. And it's in every show, it's in every movie, it's in every song. Everybody talks about it. It's at every social event. And if you tell people you don't drink, they think you're weird, they think you have a problem, they think you're fucking crazy, they think you're a loser. They'll actually make fun of you. They think something is wrong with you. They think you're not fun at parties. They think you're a Debbie Downer, right? But people don't do that for heroin or cocaine. That's the mass hypnosis that the world is under with alcohol.
Sobriety. Today I want to talk to you about why alcohol is the biggest scam, it is the biggest lie, and it is the biggest lie that was ever sold to society. Let's get into it. I'm about 2 weeks shy of celebrating 7 years of sobriety, and it's an absolute, it's crazy. It's crazy. I can't believe that me, myself, Waihiga Mutero, I am going to be celebrating 7 years of sobriety if I make it, one day at a time. And what I've been thinking about the past few days, the past few weeks, the past few months actually, what's been on my heart the most has been the lie that we've been sold. That alcohol cures your problems, that alcohol cures depression, that alcohol makes you forget, that alcohol numbs the pain, that alcohol does whatever, add the story. Alcohol does none of those things. And I'll tell you from my experience, alcohol only prolongs your suffering. When I used to drink, I thought that I was drinking to escape my reality. And my reality sucked. I hated being sober, which is why I drank. I was drinking to escape depression. That's what I thought I was doing. And I drank for many years, thinking that I was chasing a high, thinking that I was numbing the pain, thinking that that was what I was doing. All I was doing was actually fueling an addiction that had now seeped into my system physically, mentally, and spiritually. And I think what happens to a lot of us addicts, alcoholics, and drug addicts, after the first 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 times of drinking or doing a drug, the buzz wears out. The happy feelings, the tipsiness, the fun times end. And now you're just doing this drug or you're drinking in order to maintain the habit so that you don't get sick, so that you don't withdraw, so that you don't go into painful withdrawals. And withdrawals are so painful. They used to be so bad. Living in this perpetual cycle, drinking, getting sick, getting sober, drinking, getting sick, getting sober, drinking, getting sick, getting sober, is because I thought and I believed the lie that alcohol was my solution, and that somehow this alcohol was numbing me from all this pain and all this trauma. And that when I drank, 1, my issues disappeared, and 2, the memory was replaced with a happy memory or a happy reality. And that is absolutely not what happened at all. When I got sober, I had like a pink cloud for about maybe 9 months, maybe 8 months. And a pink cloud is in essence a place where you're just feeling really good, you're really happy, you're really grateful. And you're honestly very grateful because you've been living in hell for however long you've been living in hell for, in active addiction. So I had been living in hell for the past 10 years, and now I was alive again. I was waking up with hangovers. I could remember where I had stayed. I was staying in my bed. I was keeping a phone for more than a month. I was saying that I was going to do what I was going to do, and I was going to be where I said I was going to be. I was a person of my word again. I was trustworthy again. I was becoming the trustworthy old Waihiga again, the person that people knew me as when we were growing up. And I loved that people were beginning to depend on me, to rely on me. People were giving me more responsibility, expecting more from me. People were holding me accountable to things. And people expected me to show up. People didn't expect me to like mess up. That was really interesting. About 10 months sober, that's when things hit the fan. And the depression hit me so badly. It was so severe. I was hospitalized quite a few times. And I was hospitalized like in a mental institution, stone cold sober, in a mental institution, which to me is just insane. I was suicidal, very suicidal, but sober, but insanely depressed, and really had no option but to be institutionalized so that we could find out what was wrong and how to medicate the situation or how to treat the situation. All the trauma came back. All the trauma that I had been trying to evade for all those years came back. And all the trauma that I tried to run from when I was drinking, so the sexual assaults, the things that happened when I was drinking that I tried to outdrink, they too came back. And I had to deal with that stuff sober. So I had to deal with the things before I got sober, before I started drinking, when I was drinking, and after I was drinking, which was a lot of stuff to deal with. Then I also had to deal with, and trauma, don't be afraid of the word trauma. Everybody goes through trauma. If you are a human being, you have probably experienced trauma. And being in this world alone is just traumatic itself. And trauma affects us differently. That's one thing that I know about people. Trauma affects us differently, and we will all respond to trauma in very different ways. Some of us will respond alcoholically, others will respond inwardly, others will respond outwardly, others will respond in different ways. Different people will have different types of coping mechanisms. But for me, I know I responded in the addict, alcoholic kind of way. And my solution was to drown everything out. And when I tell you that I used alcohol to drown everything out, I attempted to do that. But what I'm telling you is after 10 to 15 years of continuous drinking, alcohol numbed nothing.
No level of alcohol is safe. There have been numerous studies that show this. It saddens me that I'm still hearing people who call themselves doctors on podcasts and on the television saying that red wine is good for you in small amounts. That's like saying, guys, Big Macs are good for you in small amounts because they've got gherkins in, which are one of your 5 a day. Red wine, just like all other alcohol, is a poison. It's not good for you. Grapes are good for you, but eat them before they've been fermented and turned into wine. It just makes me so angry.
Because when I sobered up, after 10 months, all of it hit me. All of it. All the things I was running away from. The failed relationships, the heartbreak, the pain from like when I was 15 years old, the failures, the disappointments, the jealousies, the envy, the manipulations. But the worst and the hardest thing to have been dealing with the whole time that I've been sober is forgiving myself. That has been the hardest part, because you're working against yourself. You can't let yourself slack off. You know what I mean? So you're telling yourself, yeah, I have to be kind to myself. I have to be really nice to myself. I have to be very loving to myself. But at the same time, I cannot let myself off the hook. Because if I do, I'm very scared that I will let myself go. And when I let myself go, I literally go. I'm a person of extremes. So it's either I am in the game or I am out the game. So this life of trying to look for a numbing solution, it just doesn't exist. And I've been sober for the past almost 7 years now. It's been very hard. I'm not going to lie to you. It's not easy. It's not easy. But I can say the biggest thing I have learned about being an adult is doing life straight no chaser. And it's funny that I'm using a drinking analogy to describe that. It's the truth. Doing life without any numbing agent, without a relationship to crutch on, without sex to crutch on, without smoking, without vaping, without drinking, without weed, without drugs, without whatever. One, I'm trying to lean on the good things. So I'm getting myself addicted to the good things, like exercise or sleep or like healthy foods. Like, get addicted to the productive things, get addicted to work, get addicted to making money, like that type of thing. Get addicted to God, that type of thing. Fill up those empty spaces with productive things. Because what I did for the first 25 years of my life was fill those spaces with very destructive, addictive things, such as alcohol and smoking. And those were some very, very deep holes to get out of. They were really hard to get out of. Like, God really took me out of those holes. And in essence, all I was doing was numbing myself from life. Like, I didn't want to feel how uncomfortable life is. And life is very uncomfortable. Yesterday was uncomfortable. The day before was uncomfortable. Last week was uncomfortable. The week before was depressing. But then next week will be better. Maybe it will be depressing too. But I know this too shall pass. Like, life will always get better. It can't always be depressing, and then it can't always be happy. Like, this is just the motion of life. Nobody gets it 1000% happy all the time or 1000% depressed all the time. Like, this too shall pass. And I have to be a big girl and I have to face life on life's terms. And most times I do not want to face life on life's terms. I want to hide. I want to take a sip of something so that I can numb myself. But I just remind myself that if I take a sip of anything, I'm just prolonging the pain. If I pick up a drink right now, that means that I am pausing my life with the problem that I have and I'm trying to run away from. I'm pausing my life right there. And I'm drinking and I'm ruining other people's lives, including my own life. I'm being completely destructive to myself and to the society around me and to my family. And then if I ever get a chance to get sober again, if I even get the grace to get back into that space again, and if I even get the chance and the support to do this again from the beginning, I come to a surrender, I surrender, I get sober. That problem that I had drunk over today will literally just unpause and still be there the day I stop drinking. So there's no point. There's no point to liquor. It is literally the biggest lie that was ever sold. Sober people are the happiest people. Sober people are living life. Sober people are doing life the best because you're living life to the fullest and you're feeling 100% of life. You're feeling 100, like when you are happy, you're 100% happy. When you're sad, you're 100% sad. When you're energized, you're 100% energized. So you're really feeling it intensely. But that is the point of life, to take life and look at life in the face and face it no matter what. Thank you for sharing this monumental day with me. Thank you for even watching to the end of this video. Until the next video.